Thank you for taking time on Sunday. And we from Wholesome Diet wholeheartedly thank you everyone who has registered. And we are very thankful for our panel of dietitians who came forward to present on this particular topic. And as you see, why we actually picked up this topic is if you are following up news on Sushant Rajput's case, or even if you actually scroll through Google, the cases of mental health, okay, the mind well-being are on the rise, okay, and with this lockdown in place, lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of stress, and there is a lot of issues that people are facing. So we picked up this topic. Okay, there are multiple aspects which actually impact our mental well-being, and one of the key thing which we want to pick up is the diet, because whether we are able to do meditation, whether we are able to do other things, the food is we are supposed to take, and with a minor modifications on the way we eat, how we can control or maintain the mental well-being is what we're going to discuss. So this is a brief agenda. We would like to stick to our time, okay, and we'll be time conscious. The subject is itself is so vast. Even if you do a full day workshop, we cannot cover the entire thing. But in the interest of time, we will give the pointers for everyone on how they can manage their mental well-being. Okay. So I'll be giving the bit of introduction and background. Then we talk about the diet, how it impacts moods and how it impacts mind, and the lifestyle, hormones and minds, the question and answers, and the closing remarks. Okay. With this, I just want to introduce our esteemed panel of dietitians. We have Dr. S. Anjum. She is a PhD in nutrition and a PhD yogic sciences. She is director, Dynamic Center for Overall Development since 2000. She is a dietitian and preventive health specialist for 28 years in hospitals and as sports nutrition for sports organization. Then we have dietitian Devaraju, who comes with more than 9 years of experience in the field of healthcare, NGO, and food industry. Then we have dietitian Fatima Malik. She has her master's in clinical nutrition and dietetics, and she specialized in cancer nutrition. She is a self-employed holistic nutrition with global presence in countries like USA, UAE, Malaysia, Iraq, Africa, and Colombo. She advises people on what to eat in order to lead a healthy lifestyle or achieve specific health-related goals. So with this, we would like to kickstart on the main agenda of importance of diet for our mental health. A healthy mind is a sorry. A healthy mind is a healthy body, right? So this we picked up from one of the survey, okay, where people have put, if you see, peace of mind as one of the attributed for happiness. Okay, so which is very crucial nowadays, because it's not just being being healthy doesn't mean that you don't have any illness. Okay, if you don't have peace of mind, that itself contributes to illness. With this, I would like to ask our dietitian Anjum to take forward on her views on how the diet plays a vital role in mental well-being. And from there, our dietitians will continue, and I'll be doing the closing remarks. Dr. Anjum, over to you.
Thank you, Praveen. Good morning, everyone. So to start with, what is good brain health or mental health? Okay, it is a state where one can realize their abilities and then improve reasoning or intellectual thinking and emotional and psychological behavioral functions, and to manage various situations of life. Okay, so the goals, how to achieve them, right? Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. The goals to achieve them is, right, health and fitness is what every individual deserves to have at its best, right? So how will you achieve these goals? Health and fitness are always different for every individual, and everyone deserves the best of it. It is very important to understand your body structure and design your own game plan. Healthy habits are an automatic defense against most illnesses and is the major factor in developing the immune system and thus improving the quality of life. Ignoring our mental health gradually leads to many chronic ailments that can be irreversible. To achieve our goals, we need to understand our body and the various chemical and hormonal changes that takes place when we make any lifestyle changes. Some of the major brain chemicals that influence our health and mood are, next slide please, dopamine, serotonin, glutamate, norepinephrine, all these and many others. Many a times these hormones are imbalanced because of our bad food habits and a very bad healthy not healthy lifestyle, unhealthy lifestyle. Okay, so in this webinar we will know about these brain chemicals and their interrelationship with food and lifestyle changes. With this, I'll hand over to dietitian Fatima Malik. She will be discussing about the relationship between food and mood. Fatima, over to you, please.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Very healthy morning to all of you. Thank you, Anju ma'am. It's like, as ma'am said, that how brain and food is interrelated, diet is so important, right? Now, the thing is, how it is very important question. Does food affect our mood or does mood affect our food? It is very crucial thing and very important. Next slide, please. Now, first understand with an example that how brain function and how it depends. You can take an example with just like our vehicle, right? Our vehicle needs a good quality of fuel to function it properly. If we are using low grade fuel, then it affects our it's like you can say we can't go for a long run, or our vehicle starts creating problems because of low grade fuel, right? The same way it happens with our brain also. Our brain, to function it properly and means like effectively, we need premium fuel that contains vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and everything. The fuel, the things which hamper our brain functionality is too much refined food, processed food. It promotes inflammation that in turn causes that affects our brain functionality and also our mood. So it is very important what you are eating. Next slide, please. Now, let's start with the mood. That how means like, okay, we understand that whatever we are eating, it affects our brain functionality. Now, how it affects our mood also. So to understand it properly, first we have to understand what is mood actually. In definition term, we can understand it is just a temporary phase, temporary state of minor feeling. For just a time being, we feel okay, fine, this is the situation. Situationally, we feel something, right? For example, for a time being, we feel angry. For a time being, we are stressed. How to deal that period of time is very important. And in that period of time, if we are giving wrong fuel, wrong eating habits, or wrong food to our brain, that automatically affects our health also, our fitness also, and our body also. So it is very important that to notice the change and accept that thing. Acceptance is very important. As Praveen sir said, that the motto to choose this topic, mental health, how diet impacts, is today is Sushant Singh's incident, and there are a lot many incidents. So that is very important to understand, to accept the thing that, okay, fine, this is the situation, how to accept it and how to modify that in our diet, and how we can correlate all the things with the health also. So it is very important to accept that mood, that phase. Now, next slide, please. Now we can understand that how mood affects. The first thing is, what are the factors which affects our mood? The first thing is diet. It is very important. If we are when to eat, how to eat, and what we are eating, it all impacts our mood. For example, right now I am very happy, and I will eat cake and every means like sweet things. That also impact my mood in the later stage. So it is very important that when you are eating, how you are eating, in what proportion you are eating, everything matters a lot in context of your mood. Second thing is drugs. Now, I just use here the term recreational. Many a times it happens that what we do, that recreational here in the sense, what happens that someone suggests some medicine, कि ये हो जाए तो ये ले लेना. This happens that you have to take this, and it is not the need of my body. It's just okay, fine, this is happening, that I have to do. It's not my the need. So it is very important that if your body needs, then only take the drugs. Otherwise, it also impacts your mood. It also impacts your body. Sometimes due to prescriptional drugs also, mood swings, and it affects our mood, aggression. Like many times it happens that if you skip your thyroid medication, or if you take thyroid medication or something, that it affects your mood. So in case of drugs, both the way it affects our mood. So we have to take care of this thing. Second, exercise is also important. If there is no lack of exercise, then it also affects our moods. If your body is not, that's why we always recommend that please consult a proper fitness trainer. He will suggest you exercise according to your body type, because many times it happens, and I have seen that if your body is not, it's like you are doing some exercises which your body is not affording. So that also affects your mood. So that is also important. Then hormonal factors are there which impacts our mood. So these are the factors which affect our mood. Next slide, please. Then how food affects. It is very important. Many a times it is very complex question actually, how food affects mood and how mood affects your food. But there are certain foods which definitely affects your mood. Like for example, if you consume too much chocolates, alcohol also, coffee, caffeine, too much caffeine also. There are few nuts and seeds. Some people are allergic, or some people have the problem. Too much consumption of egg or too much consumption of non-veg also aggravate anger and everything. So these are few things, these are few common foods which person to person tend to affect the mood. Second slide, please. Now, what else affects our mood? So in terms of dietary realm, if we see that eating rhythm also impacts. Eating rhythm in the sense, okay, right now in COVID situation, there is no proper food timings. Whatever timing we are eating, whatever timing we are sleeping. So that also affect our mood, and that also affect our mental health. So it is very important that according to our human body biological clock, just eat on time. That is very important. If we skip our meal, that also we feel agitated. That also affect our moods. Second, as I said, food quality. Of course, what you are eating, again it comes. Then how much water we drink. That is very important. Hydration is very important. So we have to take care. If many times it happens, we are not hungry, we are not in a bad mood, but what we are dehydrated, and that also affects our mood, and that also affects our mental health. So it is very important to drink at least 2 to 3 liters of water in a day. Then of course, artificial sweeteners, food allergies, sensitivities, these also all these things also impacts our mood. And amount of protein and iron and protein powders, that also impact. So it is always advisable to seek expert advice and then only consume anything, right? Binge eating or strict dieting also affects. So it is very important to consult an expert person and then only have your means like nowadays intermediate fasting and lot many fastings and lot many things are there, lot many fade diets are there. So please, before doing, consult expert advice, because that also affects your mental health, that also affect your mood, and that also affect your health in return. Next slide, please. Then metabolic realm, that also affects, like for example, if there is any gut issues, if there is IBS problem or overuse of antibiotics or anything, that also affect our mood. Because first, please find out the root cause, because many times it happens that you are acidic, and acidic is because of your wrong eating habits. And what you are doing, you are in short, you are end up having only antacids. You are just popping up antacids. That is not good. So please first take care, give body rest if it is needed, and don't overuse the medications. Because of antibiotics, because of too much antacids also, it can create problem to your gut, and if your gut is not healthy, then in turn your mental health is also not healthy, because there is gut brain connection is there. Okay. If you are not sleeping properly, see, human body needs at least 7 to 8 hours of sound sleep to rejuvenate, to repair and everything. And if you are not giving that, that also affects your mental health. Thyroid dysfunction, that is also due to menopause or menstrual cycle problem. Nowadays PCOS problem is there. That is also because of hormonal imbalance and everything. That also affects our mood, because due to hormonal imbalance we feel there are changes. So take care of that thing, that is also important. Sedentary lifestyle is nowadays a very important point which we have to take care, because sedentary lifestyle is like a second smoking. Because of that also, it, because we are not doing any work, our metabolism is low, and that also impact our mental health, because we keep on thinking, and that thinking will lead to problems. So that also affects our mood. Next slide, please. Then emotional things also affects our mood, but obvious it is, it's like there is some problem in the relationship, or money matters, work, if there is not sexual satisfaction or disappointment, comparison, everything leads to affect our mood. The important thing is how you are dealing that. As I said in the initially in the starting of the session also, that this mood is just a temporary phase, right? So how you are dealing is very important. And instead of acceptance,
pancreas and small intestine that control various functions of the digestive system. Gastrointestinal hormones can be classified based on their chemical structure. Gastrointestinal hormones are gastrin, cholecystokinin family, gastrin and cholecystokinin. Secretin family like secretin, glucagon, vasoactive intestinal peptide, gastric inhibitory peptide. Somatostatin family, motilin family, and substance P. Next slide, please. Hello. We'll discuss briefly about gastrin. Gastrin is a hormone produced by the stomach which stimulates the release of gastric acid. During a meal, gastrin stimulates the stomach to release gastric acid. This allows the stomach to break down proteins swallowed as food and absorb certain vitamins. It also acts as a disinfectant and kills most of the bacteria that enter the stomach with food, minimizing the risk of infections within the gut. Gastrin also stimulates growth of stomach lining and increases the muscle contraction of the gut to aid digestion. Uh, and what happens if you have too much gastrin? Too much of excess gastrin can occur due to a gastrin secreting tumor, gastrinoma. In gastrinomas, high levels of gastrin moving around the gut stimulate acid release, leading to stomach and small intestine ulcer that may burst. High levels of stomach acid can also cause diarrhea because of lining of the small intestine becomes damaged. And cholecystokinin is also one of the gut health. It is a vice versa. Now we discuss about nutrition tips to handle stress. To reduce stress, like to handle stress, we have to eat regularly during the day, 3 main meals and 2 to 3 snacks in between. At least we should include 3 to 4 food groups in each meal. Example, a good breakfast should consist of milk, cereal, and fruits. That is 3 food group at least. Like milk belongs to a food group called milk and milk products. Cereals belong to a food group called cereals and cereal products. Fruit belongs to a food group called fruits. Like as per NIN book, the book called Nutritive Value of Indian Foods, it contains more than 10 to 15 food groups. Generally, as per ICMR, food group can be classified into 5 groups like energy aiding, protective foods, and bodybuilding foods. Like that, they are classified mainly into 5 food groups. Increase the fiber content of our diet. Choose more whole grains, vegetables, fruits, and legumes. Slow down and relax at mealtime. Take time to sit down and eat. Enjoy taste of the food. Like chew slowly. Eat when you are hungry and stop when you are satisfied. Cut down on caffeine. Caffeine is found in coffee, tea, cola beverages, chocolates, and some medications. Instead of coffee, you could have.
Two, there are no timings, right? Because since the work from home began, the communication, so there are network issues, there are a lot of things. So invariably, whomever I spoke to, everyone, the work has increased almost twofold. Okay. So what you could have completed in office in hour, it takes 2 hours now. Okay. So it is very much important how do we handle stress, because it is a slow accumulation of this stress actually leads to a chronic mental disorders or mental health issues. Okay. So I would like everyone to take a very much importance with respect to this, and uh, Anjum will actually highlight on what we can do to manage this. Before that, I just want to put the one slide I just put, which are like threats to the brain and protectors. We will come to this slide later. Okay, this will just talk about what will be actually good and what we should avoid. Just a slide. Okay, Anjum, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Devraju and Fatima, for this valuable information. So now we know that eating right is so important for mental health, right? And the interrelationship between the chemical and hormonal secretions of the body and food we eat. Okay, that is now clear. Now, balanced and complete nutrition plays a vital role in mental health. We all know that. But along with food, there are some more important factors that influence our mental health. These are proper hydration and abstinence from addiction also plays a vital role in regulating the hormones for the desired results. Apart from this, being physically active can keep us healthy and add quality and years to our life. Next slide, please. When you exercise, your body releases many important hormones like serotonin and norepinephrine that enhances our mood and improves attention span. Then dopamine is also released, which improves motivation and focus and learning. Endorphin that keeps in that helps us dulling the sensation of pain. Okay, so these are the hormones which are released when you are exercising or are physically active. Then there is another chemical that is known as brain release neurotrophic factor. This protects and repairs neurons from the injury and degeneration. Okay, so these hormones and brain chemicals help the body to regenerate and be active and mentally fit. Okay, then there is another factor that is controlled or deep breathing. Now, what do you mean by controlled or deep breathing? When you exercise, the heart rate and your breath is very irregular. Okay, so this by controlled deep breathing, which is normally practiced in meditation and yoga, you regulate the autonomic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, these two systems are responsible for stimulation of rest and digestive activities. So when you have a deep breathing exercise on a regular basis, your the sympathetic nervous system, which is associated with flight and fight response. Now, what is flight and fight response? This response is autonomous response. Whenever there is some stress or there is some emergency, how your body is reacting is very much regulated by the sympathetic nervous system. So with deep breathing, you control this nervous system. Okay. So also the deep breathing controls oxygen flow with slow, steady and even distribution of oxygen throughout the blood supply, and thus relaxing the heart and mind, and also it loosens up your muscles, which are normally very tightened up when you are on the regular exercise or a heavy exercise or sports person. It stops the action of sympathetic nervous system also from sending high peaks of cortisol and adrenaline to our body. Okay, so when you deep breathe, the sympathetic nervous system always have a responsive action. Okay, and the adrenaline gust is normally controlled. So whenever you are excited, try and have a lower down your breathing exercise. Then apart from this, deep breathing also eliminates toxins. Okay, so how to do that? When increased levels of carbon dioxide is expelled along with natural toxic waste generated from the metabolic processes of the body, this system lowers down it, because see, when you are deep breathing, you are completely exhaling the carbon dioxide. Okay, but when your breath is irregular or fast enough, the complete carbon dioxide exhalation is not there. Okay, then there is another most important factor, that is again controlling your mental health, is circadian rhythm. Now, what is this circadian rhythm? The circadian rhythm is a natural body process which regulates the sleep-wake cycle. Okay, and it normally repeats itself in every 24 hours. Okay, as you can see in the slide, the night is starting from 12 at midnight. The cycle starts, and at 6 a.m. your melatonin releases stops. Okay, what is melatonin? Now, melatonin is a hormone which is released by the brain, and it regulates the sleep-wake cycle and is produced in response to darkness. When there is darkness, or there is the sunlight is gradually with the sunset, the sleep-wake cycle is active. Okay, so if you are postponing your sleep pattern, or you are delaying your sleep pattern, then the melatonin release starts at 9 a.m. and you are not able to have a deep sleep, which is very well required for the body to regenerate itself. Okay, so these are some pointers. Next slide, please. So these are some pointers which are very helpful in protecting your mental health. Okay, as the science says that the mood benefits of just 20 minutes. We require only 20 minutes. You need not go for the gym, or you need not go for 1 or 2 hours of vigorous exercises. Only 20 minutes of exercise can last for 12 hours, and your whole system gets rejuvenated. Okay, so along with food, you have to change your complete lifestyle and that would be the holistic approach that will give you the mental health benefits. Next slide, please. Okay, so what we would suggest that ULSA will be that live in moderation. Try and have a holistic approach. Like if you are just concentrating on diet, that will not help. If you are concentrating only on exercise, that will also not help. If you are meditating for several hours, that will also not help. So you have to keep a balance and recognize your body signals, and you'll have to keep yourself happy, and that is the main key factor that will give you a complete mental and good health. So stay happy and stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anjum. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you, Devaraju, for your wonderful insights on this subject. Now, we would like to have, we already getting some couple of questions. We will start picking up, and any of you can answer that. So before that, on behalf of audience, and I personally have a question in terms of this, right? See, today, for example, if I see how the lockdown has impacted, right? Even at office, at least we get an hour, okay, if not 1 hour, 45 minutes lunch break, okay. Now there is no lunch break, right? So people have continuous meetings, and you hardly get around 10, 15 minutes for lunch break, or there is no lunch break, or you will have meeting during the lunch, right? While we talk about all these good things, right? See, within the whole thing, we have put steps, right? This is something what you need to follow to have very good mental health, all right? But in practical, these are the challenges what we see, okay? So how do we balance it out? Okay, for example, you take it for granted. I cannot ask, okay, boss, I cannot have this meeting at this point of time, right? That's the organization norm, and it goes, right? And how do we mitigate? So there is a risk, right? We are not eating, we are not chewing, okay? How do we mitigate this risk? What is that something that we can do to compensate this? Anjum, Fatima, or Devraj, anyone of you can answer. Then I will take few questions from the audience, which are coming up in the chat box.
Okay, so as I said, that everything should be in moderation. The key point is the moderation. Okay, so if we are out of time or our time periods are irregular, then what we as dietitians suggest is you before and after your meetings, you can grab some healthy snacks which can regulate your body compositions, and after the meeting is over, you can then again go in for your meals. Okay, but don't keep yourself out of don't keep yourself hungry for a longer period of time. And plus, when you are in on meetings or you are engaged somewhere, then physically active part can be covered by just moving your legs or getting up from the chairs multiple times during the meeting, and you can just have an active and balanced life.
Sir, can I add few more things?
Yes, yes.
See, I just believe, and I always emphasize on this thing. Everything is planning and management. It's like just like your meetings. Okay, fine. I understand there are few certain meetings which are not planned before, but there are maximally we know that this is our schedule. Is this means like tomorrow's schedule is this. From this time to this time we have meeting. From this time to this time we have meeting. And moment meetings are just rare only, right? So it's like if you have back-to-back meetings or something, you can prepare, you can plan your things ahead, like smoothies or some soup or something. Just you can sip it throughout during the meeting also, so that one can fill also and one can have also. So I always believe that if like your meetings, like your work, take care of your health also, because that is also very important. And maximally what we do, we neglect our body. We take care of everything, but we neglect our body, right? So
Yeah.
it is very important planning, management, and take care of your body. As Anju ma'am already said, that always keep something healthy snacks on your table, so that you can grab, you can do that also. That is also a very good option. And you can have something, if you don't have that much also time, you can eat something, you can sip at least water, or detox water, or smoothie, or soup, or something which you can at least fulfill your stomach with some healthy thing. Because what happened that after meetings and meetings and meetings, you just end up eating anything junk, which is not good.
Okay, thanks, Fatima. Prashant, you would like to pick up a few questions what audience have posted? I can ask.
Yeah, so there's one person who's asked about fasting once in a week or once in a fortnight. So is it helpful in improving our health? So one of the panelists can take up that question.
Devaraju would like to talk about.
Yes, sir. Actually, fasting is helpful, and we can give rest to our digestive system. Uh, and like every day we are keep on eating, no. So once a while, fasting is good for health. And like stomach can digestive system can regain its capacity.
Fatima, Anjum, you would like to add on anything in terms of fasting, intermittent fasting? Because a lot of things nowadays you see the trending is intermittent fasting. Okay, so how does fasting help?
It's like I just want to add that there are pros and cons for everything. It all depends on person to person and their requirement. It's not like if he is doing fasting, I can also do, and the same result also. It's not like that. As we say na ki one dress doesn't fit all the same way. So it means like according to your situation, according to your body requirement, if it is required, then it is good. But it's like unnecessarily just following the trend is not good.
Okay. Prashant, any other questions, Prashant?
Yeah, so there's a person called Carol Fernandez who was asked that if a person does night shift, is it good or bad for health? So I like to add by asking if what are the steps that a person needs to take if a person does night shift in terms of diet.
Anjum, you would like to pick? You touched upon cardiac rhythm, right?
Circadian rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I would like to add on this. If a person is on night shift, then obviously the circadian rhythm of that person will shift altogether. Okay. So whatever is like the melatonin would definitely be on the higher side at night, but with the rest, by taking rest in the morning hours, he can just have the body, give the body the rest that is required. But on the long run, it does have some negative effects on the body. So as far as possible, after the night shift, come back to the circadian rhythm again. And whenever it is suggested, like when you are on a holiday or when you are taking a vacations, then give the body that circadian rhythm back to normal, and you can have the benefits of the hormonal changes that body is going
Age of 60, right?
right.
So because it is not immediately, and he knows like how they have worked overnight shifts and all. Okay, and those times at least you used to get very good nutritious food because of which he is able to manage now. But with current availability of food, right? What we get, what is that extra two few things that people who work on night shift to take care? Okay, in terms of food or in terms of exercise or whatever, so that at least there is some protective gear that has been given. What kind of
Okay.
food?
Okay, so can you just go to the circadian cycle slide? Okay. So as you can see in this slide, the body is very active between 10 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. at 9 p.m. at night. Okay. So melatonin is released somewhere around 8 a.m. in the morning, stops releasing at 8 a.m. in the morning, and is released at the peak at the midnight.
Means like how much you are eating, when you are eating, and how you are eating. So it's always like, see, if anything you are eating in means like without proportion and too much, that will definitely will harm your body. And second, it's like the way you are making the food, how you are preparing, and how you are consuming, and along with what you are consuming, that all things affects. Okay, so non-veg is means like it is your personal choice, good or bad. It's like if you want you can have, but the thing is have it along with some carbs and fibers. Means like fiber rich is very important to digest the reason for your sugar craving. So to find out the reason is very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wants to add there, Raju or Anjum, on that point?
No, she has appropriately answered that question. Okay, everything should be in moderation, and plus that is a vicious cycle that we follow with the sugar cravings. Okay, so it is normally when you are hungry, you tend to eat more of sugars, and then again you are back to a hypoglycemic state because the sugar is the glycemic index of sugar is very high, so it absorbs in body very fast, and then again you feel hungry, and then you tend to eat more. So it's a vicious circle that you follow. Okay, so you just have to avoid taking a lot of concentrated sugars. Okay, and one more thing I would like to add over here is there's one person who is asking, does pressure cooked food loses its nutrients? That's a very important question, which I would rather like to answer without your permission, Praveen.
No permission.
Because this is the trend that Indian households generally have, that we have a lot of pressure cooked foods. Okay, so although it is a steaming process that is followed in pressure cooker, but when you cook food on a very high temperature and the whistles are blowing, like the steam is released with a pressure, then definitely the nutrients get degenerated. Okay, so it's better that if you are pressure cooking also, you cook it on a very slow flame, and don't let the steam pressure out itself. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and one more question we have from Srinivas Murthy. How do we address the unscientific growth method of agriculture produced of crops, fruits, and vegetables, where pesticide, chemical preservatives are harming us by consuming these foods? Is modern food provide us all nutrient required for human? This is one point I said, like where for my father's their era versus what we are getting now. Okay, how do we actually address that? Very good question. Anjum.
Yeah. See, the question is with the pesticides and the unconditional growing of vegetables, right?
Yes. All hybrid, all these things, right? What is that impact? How do we can't help anything, right? We can't grow our own. So how do
Right.
we?
Right. The hybridization does not lose the nutrient value of the food. Rather, it increases the nutrient value many a times. Okay. So it depends what kind of food you are taking, and plus the pesticides or the agricultural growth practices that are being followed just recently, that we can just control with the proper sanitization or blanching of the vegetables or foods that we get.
Okay. And one quick question on how much amount of protein we need in a day.
Can I answer this question, sir?
Yeah, sure, please.
1 gram per kg body weight for adults.
Okay, 1 gram per kg. So 60
Yes,
grams if a person is 60 kg weight.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Devraj, if you can also add on, right? See, because normal people like we don't understand. Okay, so how do I get 1 gram? How do I get, say, for example, 60 gram of protein from where? What is like, how much of what will give me that?
Like suppose if we take 100 gram of cooked rice, or that may give about 2.5 grams of protein. Like suppose if we take 1 cup, assume 1 cup is equal to 200 grams, we may get about 5 grams of protein.
Okay, okay,
Like different foods like chapati, like 100 grams of chapati, or maybe suppose if one chapati is equal to 30 grams, three chapatis is equal to nearly 100 grams. That gives about more than 10 grams of protein. Uh, like so, like while planning diet, we have to portion size. With portion size, we can make out the protein content, like what is the required protein content per person, like that.
okay.
But
And one quick thing, another question is, see, we have talked about mental health. Okay, we talked about, see, just now I just put one slide I have picked up from the net on the brain threats and protectors. So one of the question is, can you name few food which helps people to come out of depression, right? So that is one thing. So any specific foods that you recommend, okay, help ease the depression? Anjum, Fatima, anyone?
Sir, as I said before also, there is no particular one food. It's just as Anjum ma'am covered, it's all about holistic approach and lifestyle modification. If for example you are, if I said, see, as in the slide it mentioned vitamin E is good, green leafy vegetables and everything is good. If you are eating all these things, but still if you are not doing exercise, if you are in too much stress, then definitely your mental state will not going to be very good. So everything in proportion and everything will go hand in hand, like good food also, proper sleep also, exercise also, your lifestyle also, your eating habits also, everything will go hand in hand. Then only I can say okay, you can protect your mental health, and you can, means like protect, or else you can use the term that you can, uh, proper term is like you can, uh, what we can say okay, you can improve your mental health by doing all these things in holistic approach.
Okay, okay, thanks, Fatima.
I would like to add on to this, please. Uh, there's one more thing that we have all just missed out on. That is the thing, the culprit, which was till date labeled as the culprit for health deformation, fat. Okay, so nowadays the researchers have proved this, that you need to have good fat for the body and for your brain, because if you are not taking enough fat, then your brain activities are almost like the brain cells are degenerative very fast. So just keep in mind that there is none of the nutrients that are just blamed on to be not to be taken. Okay, so you have to have fats also, you have to have a lot of carbohydrates also, you have to have protein also, and keep a balance in your mind. uh, Along with that, even cholesterol is required for the proper brain functioning. So please don't avoid things uh, which are labeled as bad.
Thanks, Sanjum. And last question is, should there is a thing like we should not consume cooked food and raw food. Say, for example, you take say biryani, and after that you take fresh fruit juice. Is it a myth? Is it a fact? What is it?
Can you please repeat the question? I didn't hear it properly.
No, is it like should we can we take raw food, like for example fresh fruits after eating like a cooked meal? Okay, so is that fact that you should not take cooked food and the raw food like fresh juice and all, okay, together. So for example,
Sir, just give an example so that I just get it what you exactly want to ask.
so say for example, after I take biryani, can I take fruit juice? Okay, or should we not take? So biryani is a cooked food, whereas the juice is a raw, right? So it is just extracted from fruit. So can we have that? Are there any restrictions?
Sir, there is no restriction or something, but the thing is again the same thing, that what food you are eating, how you are eating, and when to eat. See, fruit juice, first of all, we never ever recommend fruit juices because it is just sugar which you are drinking. There is no fiber, there is no vitamins, minerals, there is nothing. If many people say that this is fresh fruit juice. Fresh fruit juice, if you are preparing at home also, then too it consists of nothing. It's just sugar, that's it, that nothing else in it, right? Second thing, it's like if you say okay, raw fruits, if you are saying, many a times it happens that people have the habit that after dinner, that's the whole family is sitting together and they are consuming fruits, right? So fruits are good. Fruits are really very good. They are rich in complex carbs, fiber, vitamins, minerals. But again, the thing is, the thing which we have to keep in mind is the timing of food, so that our body gets maximum nutrients of it. If you are consuming the fruits after the meal, then it is of no use. Why? Because already you consumed your food, you get proteins, fats, everything, and then after that again you are eating, then you are just adding more calories in your meals. You are, means like the benefits which you can have of fruits is you are not getting that. So I always
SVM. Okay, the name coming from wholesome. Okay, so anything else you can actually drop a note to my personal ID as well. So praveen.bengaluru@coop.com. We will circulate this deck to all the participants. Prashant, you have the email IDs for of all the participants, right?
Yes,
Prashant,
Praveen.
you're there.
Yes, Praveen, I have it.
Okay, so we will send you the deck what we talked about. Okay, and you can also reach us on intouch@wholesome.com or on my personal mail ID. Okay, thank you once again for all to making it happen, taking time on that Sunday. Okay, with this we conclude the webinar.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, everyone.